I am going to invite Asha Glean to the stage. Please, a round of applause for Asha. Asha is a star content creator and actor, best known for his comedic skits, and I'm just going to give him the mic. Thank you.
Thank you. Right. Wow. Lovely to see you guys. Thank you for having me. Just some housekeeping stuff. I walk around a lot. Ignore me. Keep your eyes on the slide and listen to my voice. Okay? Right. My slideshow. Amazing. I thought I'd start off with my picture because this is, I hope it's not scary to you guys, but that is a picture I started with. That actually originated from Michael Jordan's crying face. That was my first ever picture. That was my picture on everything, BBM, everything. And then I got someone to make one of me. So I want to tell you the significance of that picture because it's deeper than you think. I'm a person that cries a lot. You can see my baby pictures on my birthdays. I'd cry all the time. And I cry through laughter. If I laugh too hard, I cry. When I'm upset, I cry. I'm very open about crying. I cry like once a week because it lets me feel good and then I'm ready to go on. You know, if you haven't seen my content, I cry a lot in my content as well. It's just something I like doing. And with that picture, it's a mixture of laughter, pain, but also it will get better. The smile is like, it's going to get better. So it's okay to cry. Now, I'm a content creator. For those of you that don't know, I create comedy skits. I started in 2022, February, and I remember the day exactly because I said to myself, I'm going to post every day for the rest of the year. If it doesn't work, I'll be glad to know I tried, and then I can move on. I like that closure, okay? I feel like a lot of us don't want to throw ourselves into things because we're scared of the failure. But you fail, nobody's going to come up to you and say, I remember when you attempted to be a content creator. Nobody ever does that. It never happens. And so when I came to terms with that, I decided to just pursue it, throw my whole self in it whilst I was working as a teacher as well, which was really, really weird because eventually the students started seeing me and I pretended it wasn't me. So I was working in primary school, so the kids believed me. They were very gullible. And yes, I decided to pursue it. I've now got 2.3 million followers, which is amazing. Unbelievable. It's crazy. And I was nominated for an award last year. I won the award. I was nominated for an award this year. Didn't win, but I won because I've been nominated again. And it just feels so surreal because when I started, I never actually thought to myself, wow, I could win an award. Or even 2 million people. I used to look at people's accounts that I admire and think, how did they even get 2 million humans to follow them? And now I'm in the position and I still can't believe it. So we got to thank God because the things that you can't believe are happening is because it's with the grace of God. You know, only God can do the things that humans can't. The things that we think, oh, that's impossible. Yes, it's impossible for you, but possible for him. Right, so this is a little bit about me. I'm going to touch on AuDHD, which is a mixture of autism and ADHD, which is something I have. I got diagnosed at 7. I also have anxiety, hereditary. My mom has anxiety. My granddad had anxiety. And I take medication for both. A lot of people, you know, always say to me, oh, you don't look ADHD. I don't know what that's supposed to look like. I don't know. But yes, I do, and I'm also autistic. How does that affect me? It's affected me quite a lot in terms of education, university. I wasn't able to excel as well as I thought I would. But saying that, the only reason why I wasn't able to excel is because I wasn't given the room to. Maybe I wasn't great at writing, speaking, but what I was great at was coming up with ideas. And it's so funny that the time that I decided to start TikTok, there was a platform for me to manifest this gift that I had. But prior to that, there wasn't anything I could use to formulate these thoughts. All the videos I make are literally random thoughts. And I could tell you now, if there was no social media, I don't know how that would manifest itself. Probably wouldn't be a creator. And so we have to thank God for the timing as well. I feel like a lot of people always rush themselves and are panicking because they feel like they're getting too old. I promise you, it's not your time. Your time is coming for real, because I always sit back and think to myself, people have been telling me my whole life, oh, get on TV, jump on YouTube. Your friends will tell you these things. But I want to say one thing to you. You look around in this room, look at every person. Who's the one person you can't see? Yourself. You know, and so you can't see that you're good at what you do, but the people around you, the people you keep close to you, they can see it straight away. And when they're telling you to start something, I know when people tell us to start something, we kind of drag our feet. We're like, yeah, I'll do it. Trust me, believe in them, because those people are around you for a reason. Make a start. Make a start, because those people can see you, but you can't see you. Moving on, next slide. Right. Look at that guy. He's handsome, isn't it? So, do I look happy here, by the way? I wasn't happy, by the way. I got a 2-2. I was fuming. I was fuming. And I had an argument with my mom because she was like, oh, you graduated? And I was like, yeah, I only came uni because of you. And then she got really upset. But anyways, moving on, yeah. I graduated 3rd of August 2018 with a 2-2. When I first applied for uni, my college had sent them all my ADHD, autism details, and they were meant to send me some learning support. It didn't come through the first year. They emailed me end of my first year, and I failed my first year. And they were like, oh, they were apologizing. We wish we could have helped you. We can help you with your second year, third year. I was like, yeah, brilliant. They did not respond until the end of second year. God so good, I managed to complete first year in my second year and also complete my second year. Unbelievable. Couldn't even tell you how I did it. God. But in my third year, they also contacted me, tried to help me. They didn't get back to me, which I also find, on this day I was really upset because I really felt like I could have done better. There were people in my class, respectfully, that got a first. And they did not work as hard as me. So I think back to this all the time, but it's also built my character. Now, after 3 years of living outside of London, I grew up in North London, Northwest. When I moved away to university, I stayed away from London because I was in a lot of trouble. There was a lot of distractions. So I lived in Gloucester for 3 years. And when I eventually came back after the 3rd of August, my graduation, the first thing I did was meet up with my friends and we went to play football. And it was all great. I've put there, no hugs, just vibes. And that's just how the man them are, you know. I haven't seen them in 3 years. Really and truly, I should be hugging them. You know, I should be like, yo, miss you. But it wasn't even that. It was like, yo, bow. Start playing football. We spoke. And then we kept it moving. The next day, next slide. This is me being vulnerable. If my voice gets shaky, excuse me. But one of my friends who I was with, and this was one of my closest friends, he goes on holiday and then goes missing and passes away. Well, he was murdered. But it was unbelievable. I could not believe it. And so the day after that, my mum was in Ghana, my sister was in Ghana, and I had to fly to Ghana. So the next day, I ended up flying to Ghana. Now, coming out of uni, everyone knows, I didn't work while I was at uni because I just couldn't balance everything. So I was so poor, like so broke. Could not explain to you how poor I was. And asking your mum for money after 23 is, I don't know, it just doesn't sit right with me. So I just didn't ask her for money while we was in Ghana. Can we go to the next slide? So I had no phone because couldn't contact anyone. I had no credit, no nothing, no computer, and I didn't want to ask my mum for that. So I just decided to spend time with myself. I brought these 2 books. The Dream Giver, you guys should take a picture of that. It's a Christian book. It's amazing. That book changed my life. And I had that book from 2012 or 2013, but every time I picked it up, I just couldn't read it. I was just like, oh, this is so corny. I used to literally look at it like, this is cheesy, I can't. When I went to Ghana and I was experiencing all this trauma and I didn't have a phone, for some reason I decided to bring these 2 books. Obviously the other one's a Bible that my granddad got me, and then I rebought it because it was all torn up. I took these books with me, and that was the only thing I read for the next 7 to 8 weeks. And it completely changed my life. I spent time with my family. I spent time with my sister. I actually got to know my sister. What the hell? Like, she's so cool. And my mum's hilarious. Didn't know that. And it was so peaceful. It sounds cliche, but it was very peaceful. But at the same time, I learned so much about myself, the world, and everyone around me. When I came back, I prayed a lot while I was in Ghana. I prayed a lot. I read a lot. And I was looking for direction, because when you come out of university, what do? You know, I don't know anybody that goes to apply for the job that their degree is in. It's such a crazy thing. You spend 3-4 years of your life working on this degree, mastering something, and then you come out and you almost apply for other things because you go to apply for the job. They say you need experience. What you've been doing the last 3 years? I've been getting the degree to come and get this job. Okay, well, you need experience. How can I get experience if I just studied? How can I get experience if you're not going to give me this job? And so it's a vicious cycle. So I didn't have no answers. I almost joined the army. I did it for 3-4 months because it was the easy way out. When you go to the army, you literally sleep, they wake you up. They feed you food. They tell you what to do. And that is, for somebody like me who's autistic and ADHD, that is the easiest life. There was even times where I thought, what can I do to go to prison without looking so bad? Because I ain't got to pay rent. They'll wake me up. They'll give me breakfast, and I'll just chill. Seriously. But eventually, when I came back after being in Ghana, praying, I just came back really renewed. It was very interesting how I felt. And I'm telling you the story. I'm taking you on this journey because everything I do now, everything I am right now, was built off this experience. So I had this new drive. I had a renewed spirit, and I wasn't scared of anything. I wanted to approach it. I just wanted to throw myself into anything, and I didn't mind if I failed. It was so interesting. While I was praying in Ghana, I expected some sort of answer from God. Every time I pray, I expect an answer from God. But I don't think people realize that if God speaks once, that could change the next 10 years of your life. Just once. And he's not going to answer straight away. You just need to be patient. Can I go to the next slide, please? Now, these are 2 Bible scriptures that I really lean on, because that time that I spent in Ghana, in silence, being still, as the Bible always quotes, is what changed my life. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Be still and know that I am God. Right now, I think our generation, we've got it really, really, really tough. We're not going through some sort of world war. I mean, I think we might, but anyways. But our phones, we're at war with technology. We're at war with everything external. And we're forgetting about everything internal. And so me going away to Ghana, not having data and sitting there was the scariest thing, because I could actually hear myself think. And so what do you do then? Who do you lean on? My only answer was God. The prayer, the time that I spent with God was unbelievable. I came back so strong, jumped straight into, I jumped in to be a teacher as soon as I came back from Ghana, which is insane. But I felt like that was what I needed to do to make my way towards wherever God was taking me. And it worked. Now, this quote is, you know, when you go deeper into a quote, it's unbelievable the things you find, right? So the be still and know that I am God. Raw. Sorry. That sound gives me PTSD. Don't do that. Now, after doing research, that quote, be still, in Hebrew, it just means to be weak. It means to let go. It means to release. Next slide, please. These are the words that I found that link to that word, be still, the 2 words, be still, which I find amazing, because you'd think being still is the opposite of ADHD. But it's not. You know, being still is a mental thing. And because we live in such an external world, we think being still is literally just sitting down and not doing anything. Being still is spending time with God. Being still is turning off everything. There isn't a moment that I think we say, let me not listen to music. Let me just sit there and ponder. We always feel like we need to put in our headphones. We always feel like we need to be listening to background noise, as we like to call it. We put on the TV, which is detrimental to our spiritual growth. It's something that I learned. Because that one time I was in Ghana was the first time I'd ever spent time with myself, spent time with God. And 6 years after that, that's completely changed my life. Like I said, it takes God to speak once, and that's it. The next 10 years of your life is sorted. Now, bruh, when it comes to highlighting the Bible, I'm awful because the more I read, I'm like, hey, this is good, and I keep going. And you know what? The whole Bible is good, isn't it? And this quote here, I'm going to read it all for you guys because I feel like it's just so relevant, okay? So, to keep me from becoming conceited because of the surpassing greatness of the revelations, a thorn was given to me in my flesh, a messenger of Satan to harass me, to keep me from becoming conceited. 3 times I pleaded with the Lord about this, that it should leave me. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. What does be still mean? We spoke about it. Be weak. If you allow yourself, if you let go, if you allow yourself to be weak, you create room for who? God. God is not going to come to you when you don't need help. The only way he can truly show you how amazing he is when you're weak. And so the time that I spent in Ghana, I ain't spoken about the trauma that I was facing. I was crying a lot because I could not believe that somebody I saw the day before literally died. And I didn't even hug him. I ain't seen him in 3 years. And I really didn't know what to do with myself. As well as dealing with the failure, well, feeling like a failure that I got a 2-2, as well as feeling like looking at my family like, I'm a failure as well, because I went uni quite late. I failed my first 2 years of college. And so I just had this thing, which we call here a thorn in the skin. And it hurt every time I thought about it. But that 8 weeks that I spent in Ghana was when I came out the best version of myself. And the rest of this scripture is the most important part for me. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. For the sake of Christ, then I am content with weaknesses, insults, hardships, persecutions, and calamities. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Celebrating that you are actually going through something because you know God's going to show up. That, it sounds insane, but I promise you, the confidence you have when you know he's going to turn up. It's all right. I'm going through this right now, but he's going to turn up. And I'll give you an example. It sounds so minuscule, but it links to our generation right now. When I first started posting from February all the way down to, let's say, August, I promise you I was getting like 15 views. 15 views, and that was hurting. I was like, oof. But then I also enjoyed what I was doing, and I also thought to myself, it's going to, listen, all these videos I'm posting are getting 15 views. That one video is going to do well. Everyone's going to go back and see, he's been putting in the work. God's going to show up for you that one time, once again, and the rest will be history. Now, I spoke about this earlier, praying and thinking that your answer's coming straight away. Sometimes the answer's right in front of you. You're just not still. Sometimes you need to be still to hear what God is saying. And sometimes you just need to be patient. We want things now. We live in a microwave generation. You can literally buy uncooked jollof rice and put it in the fridge and put it in the microwave, and it will be done. Unbelievable stuff, okay? But that's not how life works. We need to be patient. I started creating content when I was 27, when everyone had stopped telling me, you need to do it. Because almost everyone starts to think, you're 27 now, like you ain't doing it, man. You're over it. But that was the perfect time for me. Right after COVID, I decided to just go for it. It doesn't matter how, it doesn't matter when you start. It matters how you start. Next slide, please. 6 years after me going to Ghana, having that retreat, I win an award. And I just want to stress, all it takes is for God to speak once in your life. Stop looking for 100 answers, because the last 6 years, I can't believe all the things that have happened, but it's led to this, and it was just that one trip. And when I left Ghana, I literally thought to myself, I didn't get no answers from God, but I did get answers. I'm now seeing the answers. You won't see what's happened until later on. In fact, it's happening. But we're not still enough to actually realize, oh my gosh, like life's changing. We're so focused on the negatives because we think we've got to have a perfect life. No. Even Jesus himself didn't have a perfect life. Before Jesus actually turned up in the Bible, this guy was living his life, you know. The first appearance in the Bible, he was like 30. What do you think he was doing before then? He was going through what he had to go through. He was doing his growth. Next slide, please. Now, this is me. This is me and my friend. This is one of my closest friends. And I asked the question at the start, the only person you can't see in the room. This guy met me at summer school, September, year 7, before we had even started school. And after the first day, he said to me, you need to be on YouTube. You need to be on TV. And from the whole time we was in secondary school, he kept telling me. Now he looks at me and he says, man, I told you. And I just want you guys to think about your friends you have around you. What is the theme of things that people are telling you? What are they telling you that you're not listening to? What are they telling you you're good at? Because you really need to sit down and realize they see you. And maybe you do need to attempt it. Amen? I hope this word stays with you guys. The whole reason for me sharing my journey with you is to let you guys know that take some time away, put that phone down. Even if you're a content creator now, put that phone down, pray, and find that direction. Pray that you fail, because that failure is only going to lead to your redirection. The amount of times Joseph stood up, thrown in a ditch, sold into slavery, then became head of the house, then went into prison, then became head of the prisoners as a prisoner, and then became a dream interpreter. If you saw him in the ditch, you wouldn't have thought to yourself, this guy's going to be some sort of dream interpreter. That's insane. And then after becoming a dream interpreter, he became second in command in Egypt. You can't see it, but it's happening. And you need to seriously believe in yourself, apply yourself. Don't be scared to fail, because that failure is redirection. And that's my word.
3, 2, 1.
Creative to create.
Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 says, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. I used to always question why a God that is self-existent, self-sufficient, self-satisfied, he needs nothing. Why would God create something that he does not need, that would just constantly cause problems? But I've come to realize that God is creative and it's in his nature to create. God created as an expression of his identity. The first thing that God tells us about himself is that he is creative, and the first thing he tells us about us is that he created us in his image and made us in his likeness. In other words, God created us to create.